Good evening. I hope everybody's doing well. We're going to go through a 10-step to true wealth building process. How to build true wealth. I'm going to basically take you through the basics, and we're going to look at how we can build wealth in a simplistic way. All right, so let's start. Step 1, lower your debt. You're probably like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to go through a bunch of steps that we already know. Why is he talking about this? So on and so forth. We're going to discuss it. We're going to discuss why it's important and so on and so forth, and why you should take these processes first before actually, taking on risk. Risk being investing. I would say this is the most important step of them all. Whenever you have debt, you are paying interest on that debt. This is money lost, not money gained. It means any interest you're paying on debt is money you could have been putting in your savings, but rather you're paying it on that debt, aka credit. People tend to believe that an increase in their credit line is an increase in their pay. The reason for this is when people's credit line gets increased, they are more inclined to spend more of that credit, which creates more debt. Debt then leans on you when you are going through hard times, sucking what little capital you have available to make it through these times, aka the rough times. Not only that, it can cause you to fall behind on real bills, which you need to pay, such as rent, etc. So your rent, cable, phone, so on and so forth, these other bills that you may need to pay, you may push those off, in order to pay your credit line on time, so that way you can keep your credit in good standing. What does that do? That then in turn creates what we call a late fee. That late fee is even more debt that you're paying on your debt, right? Late fees essentially are ways of, money extraction. This is why you should always pay on time, so you don't have to worry about that. And the way you can avoid not paying on time is not creating too much debt. So, how can we lower debt while building credit? Well, a lot of people ask that. They're like, how do we lower debt while building credit? I understand this can be confusing, but in reality, it is much simpler than you may think. You would set the money aside, right? So the money you would pay the bills with, you pay your rent, you pay your cable, whatever you're paying, right? You'd set that to the side. That you would normally pay your bills with. After that, then you would make your purchases, right? You make your purchases of everyday goods with the credit cards, and then pay the cards off before the next billing cycle. As long as you pay the debt off before the next billing cycle, aka the next month, then in those cases, you will not incur any type of scenario where you are paying back interest, right? You want to avoid the interest, and you can still build credit through doing this, right? Credit is built off of being able to use and pay back. That's the whole point of credit, is they extend to you credit, you pay the credit back. They extend to you credit, you pay the credit back. A lot of people think that they have to pay the interest to build the credit. No, not at all. You can definitely pay it off and then pay it back. All right, this will allow you to both grow your credit. It's allowing, they're getting revolve of cash. They're seeing the money go in, go out, right? You're using the money and then you're paying the money back, and that's what they like. And pay zero interest, essentially, right? There's always those ones that are kind of off and maybe not zero, where you're paying like on fees and stuff like that. Regardless, you don't want those credit cards anyways. It will also make your lender see you as a reliable borrower. So that is step 1. Now, step 2, cut your spending. I bet you're confused on what I mean by this point, right? Well, cut your spending. Well, don't be. This is much more achievable than most people think. Step 1, cut name brand buying, right? So I would just kind of cut out any type of name brand buying and stuff like that, unless you're getting it at a huge discount. It's just not worth the money. You can look good without paying for the brand. Who cares if it is branded? We are here to build wealth, right? You're here to build wealth, not pretend wealth, right? Pretend like you have wealth. You are here to build wealth. All right, we are here to build wealth. You can 100% still look good on a budget, right? Eat at home. If you don't know how to cook, you could always look up a recipe on YouTube or Google. I mean, you can look up anything on either one of those sites. How to cook chicken, how to cook grilled chicken, how to cook fried chicken, how to grill a steak, so on and so forth. There's always some kind of guide on how to do these things on these platforms. A quick tip for most foods are amazing with just 2 simple ingredients: salt and pepper. A lot of people like to be under this assumption that you need all these different ingredients to add to food to create flavor. Not at all. Just salt and pepper. And the reason we're going through this is because I want people to understand, like, if you're not doing these things and you're trying to invest, right? Because I do a lot of investing on this channel and stuff like that, and a lot of investment talk. You're doing yourself no justice, right? You're essentially overstressing your money. You're paying on all ends. You're throwing money at assets, maybe losing money because of the downside, right? You're throwing money at investing in the different things, like we'll say like stocks, crypto, gambling. And then on top of all that, you're also paying on interest, right? You're paying on interest. You're probably paying late fees because you're not getting things done. You're wasting a lot of money. You need to become more self-sufficient, much better at what you do, right? So we're looking to guide and head towards efficiency. That's the goal here. The goal is to head towards efficiency. So only drive when you need to, not because you want to, right? If I'm like, man, you know what? I'd like to go get a soda. Should I drive down to the store and get a soda? Just one single soda? No. If I'm gonna go get a soda, for instance, right? And he goes to me and be like, oh, it's pop or soda. Yeah, we're not gonna get in that conversation, okay? All right. If I go down and I want to go get a soda, I'm gonna go to the store, like Walmart. I'm gonna get enough soda so I don't have to go back to the store, and I'm gonna get whatever else I need while I'm there. There's no point in driving down, because you drive down to the gas station today, you'll drive down to the gas station tomorrow. Same thing with eating out, right? And same thing with Grubhub. Stay away from Grubhub, man. You will wreck yourself, all right, financially. You'll just keep buying through there. You're paying the fees, $9.99 a month for Grubhub. You know, it's not worth it, guys. Just make your food at home. All right. Does this mean you can't go to the movies or out to eat here and there? Of course not. Just make sure you pay attention to the next step. The next step's going to tell you how you can do that. So, step 3, create a budget and stick to it, right? We're not adjusting the budget. I mean, if you want to adjust it where you're saving more, of course you can always do that, right? But you want to stick to the budget. You never want to go above your budget. All right. So, this means creating a budget for each week on what you have for extra money, right? So, whatever you have for extra money, you then split that up amongst your different things you're going to do through the week. And you find out if you have enough or if you don't have enough. And if you do have enough, great. If you don't have enough, then you may have to ixnay some of your things that you'd like to do throughout the week there, right? So the general rule of thumb for savings is 20% of your paycheck. You should always be saving at least 20% of your paycheck outside of any 401ks, outside of any IRAs, outside of any investments. You should be saving 20% on the side. That's your money that you should have in the bank, not in investing, okay? Not in IRAs, not in 401ks. This 20% of what you take home should be in the bank. But we want to build this faster than the average, so we will be saving about 40%. That's what I'm looking towards right now. I'm cutting costs myself to be able to save around 40% of my paycheck each paycheck. This means I am able to spend on things I need to a maximum of 60% of my paycheck, which means if it costs more than 60% of my paycheck, I will not touch it, okay? I'm just not gonna go for it. I will avoid, I'll cut, I'll do whatever I gotta do to stay under that 60% of threshold of my paycheck. Try to never exceed this number unless you hit a rainy day. There will be times that you have to go over that number, but just make it up on the back end. Don't sit there and say, oh, well, you know what, that whole month I had to make it up. And, you know, this month I don't really need to make it up, but, you know, I already didn't save last month, so I might as well go and spend this month too. You know, you don't want to go through those directions, okay? That's a deep hole you don't want to head towards. All right. So step 4, secure an income. All right. What are some ways we can create an income? Well, the easiest and most common way is to get a job, right? At another person's company, aka become an employee. That's essentially all that is. You go to a company, you apply for the company, they hire you for a role, you work that role. That's how an employee job works. Creating an idea, right? To fulfill a much needed need in the market. So you're creating an idea. That idea solves an issue for a heavy need in the market. These are things that people look towards. For instance, we'll say like Tesla, right? Tesla created a idea of electric cars, and it basically solved the need/want for electric vehicles, right? then selling that idea to people who may be in need of your idea, aka a business strategy. That's what we call that. We call that a business strategy. You're creating an idea, you're selling that idea, you're marketing that idea, and you're making revenue off it, and you're creating what we call a business, right? Or you can get into another scenario. So scenario 3, I'm giving you 3 options. There are more. Something we can always talk about in the future, but I'm just giving you simplistic options that you can kind of roll out right now. Reselling, right? So reselling is another option. This is the process of buying an item you may be able to get in one region for cheap, right? Then selling it in another region for a profit. Example, a t-shirt company in China may make any type of t-shirt you want for cheap. Then you offer this to people here in the States for a profit, right? They sell it to you for $5 a shirt. You sell it here in the US for 15, triple your money, right? So always consider these type of things too. These are all great ideas for securing an income. All right, step 5, get your health under control. I know a lot of people there's a lot of controversy around health. Do you, right? This is just me. So if you don't feel you need to do this, and that's on you. But I can tell you from my own perspective, and plenty of people I know, when you start getting your eating under control, you start getting your exercise under control, you start getting everything in your life under control, you start getting things in check, you start feeling better, you start doing better, your energy improves, so on and so forth. This step can help you find new energy you may have never noticed you had before. It can also improve mood and attitude. This is true. This can be as simple as adjusting your diet, aka eating better, right? Walking for a bit in the morning, working out, etc. These are all different ways that you can improve your health. This also covers mental health, right? So it's not only applicable, we'd say, necessarily to physical health, but it can also be mental health. We also need to train our mental health, which means allowing your brain a breather from a long day at work, which doesn't mean come home and sit on the couch and eat ice cream and a box of donuts. It means you should try and relax your mind if you need to. You can meditate, whatever you feel like you need to do to kind of get that to happen. If you want to sit down and watch a TV show, that's fine. Just understand that you need to be active somewhere throughout your day, right? You need some type of activity, so you need to move towards that. All right. Number 6, educate yourself, right? This can lead to you getting a raise at work, a promotion, or even a better job, right? It can lead to any one of these scenarios. You can do this through accommodations, badges, special licenses, certificates, etc., right? So you can get some kind of special scenario that makes you more valuable to your company. This means continue to progress, right? Continue to push boundaries. Don't sit there and be like, oh, you know what? I don't have to really do that, so I'm just going to continue to keep on sitting here and doing, what I do every day. No, go get your certifications. Go get whatever you need to step up to that next level, right? You want to keep on making more money, because the more money you make, the more money you can save. The more money you can save, the more money you'll make. That's just how it works. Investing strategies, right? All right. Step 7, always keep an open mind. What does this mean? It means always allow yourself to progress, never limit your potential. This kind of mindset can set you back in a life. You only get one life. That's it. You only get one life. Remember that. When you're making poor choices, you don't get a second chance. This is it. All right. Step 8, save. Real simple, right? Save. No, but really save. You should always be at least partially liquid in case of an emergency. Outside of that, save every penny you get. You can do this in a safe at your home, right? Like a metal safe, at the bank, etc. Wherever you want to save that money, save it, but don't put it somewhere you're going to spend it, right? So if that's your debit card, then put it in another bank you don't have a debit card to. If you want to use a bank, try not to use debit cards. So completely avoid debit cards, because debit cards will wreck your savings because you'll just keep moving money around. Rather use cash. This can help you with spending over your budget. This is why you always see rich people. What do? They pull out a card or they pull out cash. No matter where they go, they always pull out cash. All right, step 9, invest. Invest. What if I don't know how to invest? Well, that is okay. Learn, right? There's lots of resources out there. I teach that here on this channel. I'm part of a group that teaches that. There's plenty of other channels that teach this kind of investing. The information's, it's out there. It's an ocean of information. You just have to take advantage of it and put in the effort. What do I invest in? There are tons of options out there. I'm going to give you a really cool one that not a lot of people know. Did you know if you invest in an IRA, by the way, yes, you can't get the money out until you're like 60, right? That you can write off the amount invested on your taxes. The average max is $6,000. This means if I come up short 1 year on paying taxes, I can write that much off. And do you know what that does? Well, this $6,000, they take that off of my taxes. So if I owe taxes to the federal government, right, and I put that $6,000 in, let's say I owe $8,000, I only owe them $2,000 now. It literally wipes out what I owe them. And guess what? The government doesn't keep my money. I keep my money. It's in the IRA. Granted, I can't get it till I'm older, but at the same time, they don't get it. I get it eventually, right? It comes to me eventually. That's much better than you just giving them money. A lot of people don't know this. They don't know this. Look, if you have $2,000 a year and say you owe the government $8,000, just put the $2,000 in the IRA. Like, hey, I don't have any money. You know, here's the $2,000 in the IRA. Take that off my taxes. That's simple. That's simple. Go to any tax guy, they'll tell you this. Really, really cool trick, by the way. There's also the stock market, right? And crypto. So you can invest in the stock market. You can invest in crypto. There's also the housing market, which housing market I think is a great strategy. I think it's one of the best ways to build wealth. We're going to be talking about housing moving forward. I think it's a very interesting subject, and I think a lot of people want to learn about it. All right. So step 10, this last one. All right. Grow your income. You should make an effort to every year to grow your income. If your income does not grow, have you really progressed? Right? That's what you got to ask yourself. Have you really progressed? Sometimes this means a second job, right? But the reality is to move on, if you cannot make a decent raise at your current job, this is sometimes an option you have to take and a lane you have to move in, right? Sometimes you have to move forward, move on to move forward, right? You don't want to be held back. I can tell you this, in most jobs, I don't feel that at my current job, but in most jobs, you're a number to them. That's it. So they care about you as much as you should care about them. Should you do your work well? Yes. I think you should do a good job when you're working at a company. But do you owe them anything? No. You can leave anytime you want. That is your choice. Always remember that and you'll succeed well. Lane switch. This is a big one, right? What is lane switching? This is a term for changing your career. It is often we believe that the degree or field that we work in is the only one for us. We can also get caught up in thinking we wasted all of that time and effort if we switch. So if we switch careers, we feel like, man, think about all the effort and time and all these things that I put in to do this. That's crazy. Why would I switch? It would be like I wasted half my life. No. If the money's there, right, to be able to, we'll say, supplement the move, then take it. That's just it. Even if it's a new career for you, even if it's scary, like you got to dive in. If you don't dive in, you'll never know. That's just how it is. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is a false narrative. If you find a better opportunity, go with it, right? It is a false narrative to believe that your career is the only one you can work and so on and so forth. I know tons of people that worked, doing engineering, and now they're over here like managers at or regional managers at like Wendy's. And they make way more money than they made as an engineer, right? So don't believe that your career path is the only one for you because you went to school for it. Don't believe your career path is the only one for you because you worked in that industry for 10 years. These are all false narratives that drive people to stay in a stagnant work field. Sometimes work fields get stagnant, right? You need to move forward. You need to make income. That's just how it is. All right. Well, that should cover our 10 steps here. I hope this assists everybody on kind of, what they should be trying to look towards if they really want to build wealth. We'll be doing more steps moving forward, and we're going to be discussing a lot of things in the coming days. Until next time, I'll see you later.